Know the strength of man, but keep a woman's care.
If I have even just a little sense, I should walk in the great way, and my only fear would be straying. The great way is very smooth and straight, and yet the people prefer devious paths. That is why the court is corrupt, the fields lie in waste, the granaries are empty.
To be the pattern of the world,
dressing magnificently, wearing a sharp sword, stuffing oneself with food and drink, amassing wealth to the extent of not knowing what to do with it, is being like a robber.
One who
I say this pomp at the expense of others is like the boasting of thieves after a looting. This is not the Tao.
To be the fountain of the world is to live the abundant life of virtue. When the unformed is formed into objects, its original qualities are lost.
Whoever is planted in the Tao will not be rooted up.
You can govern.
Whoever embraces the Tao will not slip away.
The best governor.
Generations honor generations endlessly. Cultivated in the self, virtue is realized. Cultivated in the family, virtue overflows. Cultivated in the community,
do you think you can
take
over the universe and improve it?
Cultivated in the state,
I do not believe it can
virtue
be done.
abounds.
Everything under heaven
the Tao is everywhere.
Vessel and
it has become everything.
Trying to control,
to truly see it as it is.
To grasp,
in a person, see it as a person.
Allow your life
in a
to
family,
unfold naturally.
See it as a family.
Know that
in a country,
is a vessel of perfection.
See it as a country.
Just as you
in
breathe
the world,
and breathe
see
out.
it as the world.
There's a time for being
How do I
ahead,
know this is true?
And a time for being behind.
By looking inside myself.
A time for being in motion, and a time for being at rest. A time for being vigorous, and a time for being exhausted. A time for being safe, and a time for being
who is in harmony with the Tao.
To the sage,
like a newborn
all
child.
Of life is a movement.
Deadly insects will not sting him.
So what need
wild beasts
he for
will
the
not attack
excessive,
him.
The
Birds of prey will not strike
extreme.
him. Bones are weak, muscles are soft, yet his grasp is firm. He has not experienced the union of man and woman, but is whole. His manhood is strong. He screams all day without becoming
One
hoarse.
Who would guide a
This
leader
is perfect
of men
harmony.
In the uses of life.
To know harmony is to know the changeless.
The use of arms
to know
for
the changeless is to have
weapons
insight.
often turn upon
Things in
the
harmony with the Tao remain.
Where armies
Things that are forced grow for a while,
but
then wither away.
Thorns.
This is not the Tao.
After a great battle,
whatever is against
fought,
the Tao
the land is cursed.
Soon ceases to
the crops fail. The earth lies stripped of its motherhood. After you have attained your purpose, you must not parade your success. You must not boast of your ability. You must
Those
not
who
feel
know
proud.
Do not talk.
You must rather regret that you had not been able to prevent the war.
Block all the
you must
passages.
Never think of
Close your
others.
mouth. Cordon off your senses. Blunt your sharpness. Untie your knot. Soften your glare. Settle your
not
dust.
Attuned to the way.
This is primal
not
union,
being attuned
with
to
a
the
secret
way.
embrace.
Its end comes.
One who knows
all
this
too
secret
soon.
is not moved by attachment or aversion, swayed by profit or loss, nor touched by honor or disgrace. He is far beyond the cares of men, yet comes to hold the dearest place in their hearts.
Weapons
this,
are the
therefore,
tools of
is the
violence.
highest state
All
of
decent
man.
men detest them. Therefore, followers of the Tao never use them. Arms serve evil. They are the tools of those who oppose.
If you want to be a
wise
great
rule.
leader, you must learn to
Use
follow
them
the Tao.
only as a last
Stop
resort.
trying to control.
For peace
Let go of
and quiet
fixed
are
plans and
dearest
concepts,
to the
and the
decent
world
man's heart.
will govern itself.
And to him, even a
How do I know
victory
this is
no
so?
cause for rejoicing.
Because in this world, The greater the restrictions and prohibitions, the more people are impoverished. The more advanced the weapons of state, the darker the nation.
Upon the world.
The more artful and crafty the plan,
a good sign when
the stranger the outcome.
Comes forward.
The more laws are posted,
a bad sign
the more thieves
when his lower nature comes forward.
Therefore the sage says,
the slaughter of
I take no action
we have
and
grief
people are
and
reformed. I enjoy peace and people become honest.
When you win a war,
I do nothing and people become rich.
By mourning.
If I keep from imposing on people, they become themselves. When the ruler knows his heart,
has no name.
The people are simple and
although simple and subtle.
When he meddles with their lives, they become restless and disturbed.
If kings and lords
bad
could
fortune
harness them,
is what good
the
fortune
10,000
means.
things would naturally
Good
obey.
fortune is what
Heaven
bad
and earth would
fortune
rejoice with the dripping of
Who
sweet
knows
dew.
the ultimate end of this
Everyone
process?
would live in harmony.
Is there no
not by
norm
official
of right?
decree,
Yet what is
by
normal
their
soon
own
becomes
goodness.
abnormal.
Once
People's
the whole is
confusion
divided,
is indeed
the parts
long-standing.
need names.
Thus
There
the
are
master is
already
content to
enough
serve as an example
No one
and not
to
to
stop.
impose his will.
No one reasons
He is
sets
pointed,
limits to avoid
but
power.
does not pierce.
Rivers
He
and
straightens,
streams are
but
born of
does
the
not
ocean,
disrupt.
and all creation is
illuminates,
born of the Tao.
But does not dazzle.
Just as all water flows back to become the ocean, all creation flows back to become the Tao.
In governing people and serving nature, nothing surpasses thrift and moderation. Restraint begins with giving
One
up
who
one's own
understands
ideas.
others
This
has
depends
knowledge.
on virtue gathered in the past.
One who understands
If there's a good
himself
store of
has
virtue,
wisdom.
then nothing is impossible.
Mastering
If nothing
others
is impossible,
requires
then there are
force.
no limits. If a man knows
Mastering
no
the
limits,
self
he is fit to lead.
Needs strength.
This is the way to be deeply rooted.
If you realize
and
that
firmly
you have
planted
enough,
in the
you
Tao,
are truly
the
rich.
secret of long life and lasting
One who
vision.
gives himself to his position surely lives long. One who gives himself to the Tao surely lives forever.
Governing a large country is like frying a small fish. You spoil it with too much poking. Approach the universe with the Tao, and evil will have no power.
It can apply
Not
to
that
the
evil
left
is not
or the
powerful,
right.
but its
All
power will
beings
not be
depend
used
on
to
it for
harm
life.
others.
Even
Not
so,
only will it not do harm
it
to
does not
others,
take
but the
possession
sage
of them.
himself will also be
It
protected.
accomplishes its purpose,
Only
but
the
makes
ruler and
no
his people
claim
would
for
refrain
itself.
from harming each other.
It covers
All
all
the
creatures
benefits
like
of
the
life
sky,
could accumulate to the
but
kingdom.
does not dominate them. All things return to it as to their home, but it does not lord it over them. Thus it may be called great. The
A great
sage
country is like the
imitates
lowland,
this
toward which
conduct
all streams flow.
by not
It
claiming
is the
greatness.
reservoir of all under heaven, the feminine of
Sage
the world.
achieves greatness.
The female overcomes the male with stillness, by lowering herself through her quietness. So if a great country lowers itself before a small one, it wins friendship and trust.
All men
And if a
will
small
come to
country
him
can
who
lower
keeps
itself
to
before
the
a great
one.
one, it will
They
win
flock
over
to
that
him
great
and
country.
receive no harm.
The one
For in
wins
him
by
they
stooping,
find peace,
the other by
security,
remaining low.
and happiness. Music and dining are passing pleasures, yet they cause people to stop. How bland and insipid are the things of this world when
The
one
Tao
compares
is the
them
treasure
to the Tao.
house, the true nature, the
When you
secret
look
source
for it,
of
there's
everything.
nothing to see.
It is the
When
treasure
you
of the
listen
good
for it,
man,
there's nothing to hear.
the refuge of the
When you
bad.
use it,
If a person
cannot
seems
be
wicked, do not
exhausted.
cast him away. Awaken him with your words, elevate him with your deeds, repay his injury with your kindness. Do not cast him away, cast away his wickedness. Thus, when a new leader is chosen, do not offer to help him with your wealth or your expertise.
Should you want to weaken something, you must deliberately
Offer
let it
instead
grow
to teach
strong.
him about the Tao.
Should you want to
Why did
eliminate
the ancients
something,
make
you
so
must
much of the principle?
deliberately allow it to flourish.
Is it not because it is the source of all
Should
good
you want to
and the
take
remedy
something
for all
away,
evil?
you must
It is the
deliberately
most
grant
noble
it
thing
access.
in the world.
The lesson here is called the wisdom of obscurity. The gentle outlasts the strong. The obscure outlasts
Practice
the obvious.
non-action.
Fish
Work
cannot
without
leave
doing.
deep waters,
Taste the
and a
tasteless.
country's weapons
Magnify the
should
small.
not be displayed.
Increase the few. Reward bitterness with care. See simplicity in the complicated. Achieve greatness in little things. Take on difficulties while they are still easy. Do great things
The
while they are
Tao
still
does
small.
nothing, but
The
leaves
sage
nothing
does not
undone.
attempt anything very big,
If
and thus
powerful
achieves
men
greatness.
could center
If you
themselves
agree
in it,
too
the
easily,
whole
you will
world
be
would be
little trusted,
transformed by itself
because the
in its
sage
natural
always
rhythms.
confronts difficulties.
When life is
He never
simple,
experiences them.
pretenses fall away. Our essential natures shine through. By not wanting, there is calm, and the world will straighten itself.
What is
When
at
there is
rest
silence,
is easily managed.
one finds the anchor
What is not
of
yet
the
manifest
universe
is
within
easy to prevent.
oneself.
The brittle is easily shattered. The small is easily scattered. Act before things exist. Manage them before there is disorder. Remember, a tree that fills a man's embrace
A truly
grows
good
from a
man
seedling.
is not aware of his
A
goodness.
tower 9 stories
and is
high
therefore
starts with
good.
1 brick.
A
A
foolish
journey
man
of
tries to
1,000
be
miles
good and is
begins
therefore
with a
not
single
good.
step.
The
Act
master does nothing,
and destroy
yet
it.
he leaves
Grasp
nothing
it
undone.
and lose it.
The ordinary man
sage
is
does
always
not
doing
act,
things, yet
so
many
is not
more are
defeated.
left to be done.
He does not grasp,
The highest
therefore
virtue
does not
is
lose.
to act without a sense of self.
People usually fail
The
when they are
highest
on the verge of
kindness is
success.
to give without
So
condition.
give as much care at the
The
end
highest
as at the
justice
beginning.
is to
Then
see
there will be no
without
failure.
preference.
The sage does not
When the
treasure
Tao
what
is
is
lost,
difficult to
there is
attain.
goodness.
He does not collect
When
precious
goodness is
things.
lost, there is
He learns
morality.
not to hold on to
When
ideas.
morality is lost,
He helps
there
the
is
10,000
ritual.
things find their own nature,
Ritual is the
but
husk
does not
of
venture
true
to lead
faith,
them by the nose.
the beginning of chaos. The great master follows his own nature and not the trappings of life. It is said, he stays with the fruit.
The
and
ancient
not the
ones
fluff.
were simple-hearted
He stays
and blended
with the
with the
firm
common
and
people.
not the flimsy.
They did not shine forth.
stays with
They
the
did not
true
rule with cleverness,
and
so the
not the
nation
false.
was blessed. When they think that they know the answers, people are difficult to guide. When they know that they do not know, people can find their own way. Not using cunning to govern a country is good fortune for the country.
These things from
The simplest
ancient
pattern
times
is the
arise
clearest.
from one.
Content with an ordinary life,
sky
you can
is
show
whole
all
and
people the
clear.
way back to
The
their
earth
own
is
true
whole
nature.
and firm. The spirit is whole and full. The 10,000 things are whole, and the country is upright. All these are in virtue.
Why
of
is the sea
wholeness.
king of 100 streams?
When man interferes
Because
with
it
the
lies
Tao,
below them.
the sky
Humility
becomes
gives
filthy.
it its power.
The earth becomes
Therefore,
depleted.
those desiring a
equilibrium
position above
crumbles.
others must speak
Creatures
humbly.
become
Those
extinct.
desiring to lead must follow.
Therefore, nobility
Thus it is that
rooted
when a
in
sage
humility.
stands above the people, they do not
Loftiness
feel the
is
heaviness of
based
his weight.
on lowliness.
And when he stands in front of the people,
This is why
they do
noble
not feel
people
hurt.
refer to
The
themselves as
sage
alone,
stays low, so the
lacking,
world never tires of
unworthy.
exalting him. He remains
The
a
pieces
servant,
of a chariot
so the
are
world never
useless
tires of making
unless
him
they
its
work in
king.
accordance with the whole. A man's life brings nothing. unless he lives in accordance with the whole universe. Playing one's part in accordance with the universe is true humility.
All the world talks about my Tao with such
means
familiarity.
No honor.
What folly!
It's not
the Tao is
wise
not
to
something
shine
found
like
at the
jade
marketplace or
and
passed on from
resound
father
like
to
stone
son.
chimes.
It is not something gained by knowing or lost by forgetting. If the Tao were like this, it would have been lost and forgotten long ago. I have 3 treasures which I hold fast and watch closely.
Returning
the first
is the
is
motion
mercy,
of the Tao.
the second is frugality,
Yielding
the
is the way
third
of the
is
Tao.
humility.
The
From mercy
10,000
comes
things
courage.
are born of being.
From frugality
Being
comes generosity.
is born
From
of
humility
non-being.
comes leadership. Now if one were bold but had no mercy, if one were broad but were not frugal, if one went ahead without humility, one would die. Love vanquishes
A
all
great
attackers.
scholar hears of
It
the
is
Tao
impregnable
and
in
begins
defense.
diligent practice.
When heaven wants
A
to
middling
protect someone,
scholar hears of the
does it
Tao
send an
and
army?
retains some
No,
and
it
loses some.
protects him with love.
An inferior scholar hears of the Tao and roars with ridicule. Without that laugh, it would not be the Tao. So there are constructive sayings on this. The way of illumination seems dark. Going forward,
A good
seems
soldier
like
is
retreat.
not violent.
The
A good
easy
fighter
way
is
seems
not angry.
hard.
Good
True
winners
power
do not
seems
contend.
weak.
Good employers
True purity
serve their
seems
workers.
tarnished.
The best
True
leader
clarity
follows
seems
the will of the
obscure.
people.
The
All of
greatest
them
art
embody the
seems
virtue of
unsophisticated.
non-competition. This is
The
called the
greatest
virtue
love
of
seems indifferent.
non-contending. This
The
is called
greatest wisdom
employing the
seems
power of
childish.
others. This
The
since
Tao is
ancient
hidden
times has been known as the
and
ultimate
nameless.
unity with heaven.
The Tao alone nourishes and brings everything to fulfillment.
There is a saying among soldiers, I dare not make the first move, but would rather
Tao
play the
gave birth
guest.
to one.
I dare not advance an inch,
One
but would rather
gave birth
withdraw
to
a
two.
foot.
Two
This is
gave
called
birth to
going
three.
forward without advancing,
All 3
pushing
begot
back
the 10,000
without
things.
using weapons.
The 10,000
There is
things
no
carried
greater
in
misfortune than
and
feeling
embraced
I have
the
an
end.
enemy. For when
They
I
achieve
and
harmony
enemy
by
exist
combining
together,
these forces.
there is no room left for my treasure.
People suffer at the
Thus,
thought
when
of
two
being
opponents
without
meet,
parents,
the
without
one
food,
without
or
an
without
enemy
worth.
will surely triumph.
Yet this is the
When
very
armies
way
are
that
evenly
kings
matched,
and lords
the
once
one with
described
compassion
themselves.
wins.
For one gains by losing, and loses by gaining. What others taught, I teach. The violent do not die a natural
My
death.
teachings are very easy to
This is my
understand
fundamental
and
teaching.
very easy to practice. Yet so few in this world understand, and so few are able to practice. My words have an ancestor, my deeds have a lord. The people
The
have no
softest
knowledge
of
of
all
this,
things
therefore they have no
overrides
knowledge
the
of me.
hardest of all things.
This is why the sage
That
dresses
without
plainly,
substance enters
even though
where
his
there is no
interior is
space.
filled with
Hence I
precious
know the
gems.
value of non-action. Teaching without words, performing without actions, few in the world can grasp it. That is the Master's way.
Knowing
Rare
ignorance
indeed
is
are
strength.
those who obtain the
Ignoring
bounty of
knowledge
this world.
is sickness. Only when we are sick of our sickness shall we cease to be sick. The sage is not sick, but is sick of sickness. This is the
Which
secret
means
of
more
health.
to you or your renown? Which brings more to you or what you own? I say what you gain is more
When people
trouble
lack
than
a
what
sense
you
of
lose.
awe, there will be disaster.
Love is
When
the
people do
fruit
not
of
fear
sacrifice.
worldly power,
Wealth
a
is
greater
the
power
fruit
will
of
arise.
generosity.
Do not limit the view of yourself.
The contented man
Do not
is
despise
never
the conditions of your birth.
He
Do
who
not
knows
resist the
when to
natural
stop
course
is
of your
preserved
life.
from peril.
In this way, you will
Only
never
thus
weary of
can
this
you
world.
endure long.
Therefore the sage knows himself, but makes no show of himself, loves himself, but does not exalt himself. He prefers what is within to what is without.
The greatest perfection seems imperfect, and yet its use is inexhaustible. The greatest fullness seems empty, and yet its use is endless.
Bold action against others leads to death.
Seems twisted.
Bold action in harmony with the Tao leads to life.
Seems stupid.
Both of these things sometimes benefit and sometimes injure. It is heaven's way to conquer without striving.
Great
It does not speak, yet it is answered. It does not ask, yet it is supplied with all that it needs.
Inactivity
It does not hurry,
heat.
yet it completes everything on
Stillness and
time. The
tranquility
net of heaven catches all.
In the universe.
Its mesh is coarse, but nothing slips through.
When the world has the way, running horses are retired.
If you realize that all things change, there is nothing you will try to hold on to.
The way.
If you're not afraid of dying, there's nothing you cannot achieve.
There is
always a Lord of Death.
The Tao.
He who takes the place of the Lord of Death is like one who cuts with the blade of a master carpenter. Whoever cuts with the blade of a master carpenter is sure to cut his own hands.
Contentment alone is enough. Indeed, the bliss of eternity can be found in your contentment.
When taxes are too high, people go hungry. When the government is too intrusive, people lose their spirit. Act for the people's benefit. Trust them. Leave them alone.
Without going out the door, know the world. Without looking out the window, you may see the ways of heaven. The farther one goes, the less one knows. Therefore, the sage does not venture forth.
The 76th verse of the Tao Te Ching.
Does not look and yet names.
A man is born
does
gentle
not strive
and
yet attains.
At his death, he is hard and stiff. All things, including the grass and trees, are soft and pliable in life, dry and brittle in death. Stiffness is thus a companion of death.
Daily
flexibility, a companion of life.
The practice of the Tao.
An army that cannot yield will be defeated. A tree that cannot bend will crack in the wind.
Until
the hard and stiff will be broken.
When nothing is done,
soft and supple,
nothing is left undone. True mastery can be gained by letting things go their own way. It cannot be gained by interfering.
The way of heaven is like drawing a bow. The high is lowered, the low is raised. When it is surplus, it reduces.
Fixed mind.
When it is deficient,
he is aware of the needs of others.
It increases.
Those who
the
are
Tao
good,
of mankind is the opposite. It reduces the deficiency in order to add to the surplus.
Because the nature
it strips the needy to serve those who have too much. Only the one who has the Tao offers his surplus to others.
He is also kind to the unkind.
What man has more than enough and gives
the
nature
nature of his being
only the man of the Tao.
He is
the
faithful
master can
to the
keep
faithful.
Giving because there's no end to it.
He is also faithful
He acts without
to
expectation,
the
succeeds without taking
the sage
credit,
lives in
does not think that he is better than
below heaven. He sees everything as his own self. He loves everyone as his own child. All people are drawn to him.
Nothing in the world is softer and weaker than water. But for attacking the hard, the unyielding, nothing can surpass it. There is nothing like it. The weak overcomes the strong, the soft surpasses the hard.
Between
In all
birth
the
and
world
death,
there is no one who
3
does not know
in
this,
10 are
but no one can
followers of
master the
life.
practice.
3
Therefore
in
the
10
Master
are
remains
followers
serene
of
in the
death.
midst of sorrow.
And
Evil
men
cannot
just
enter his
passing
heart,
from birth to
because
death
he has given up
also
helping.
number
He is
3
people's
in
greatest
10.
help.
Why
True
is
words
this
appear
so?
paradoxical.
Because they clutch to life and cling to this passing world. But there is 1 of 10 that say, so sure of life, that tigers and
After a bitter
wild bulls
quarrel,
keep clear.
some resentment remains.
Weapons
What can
turn
one
from
do
him
about
on
it?
the battlefield.
Being content with what you have is always
Rhinoceroses have
best
no
in the end.
place to horn him.
Someone must
Tigers
risk returning
find
injury
no
with
place for
kindness, or
claws,
hostility will never
and
turn to
soldiers
goodwill.
have no place
So the wise
to
always
thrust
give
their
without
blade.
expecting gratitude.
Why is this
One with
so?
true virtue always seeks a
Because
way
he
to give.
dwells in
One
that
who
place
lacks true
where
virtue
death
always
cannot
seeks a
enter.
way to get. To the giver
Realize
comes the
your
fullness of
essence,
life. To
and
the
you
taker,
will witness
just
the
an empty
end
hand.
without ending.
Imagine a small country with few people. They have weapons and do not employ them. They enjoy the labor of their hands and do not waste time inventing labor-saving machines.
It springs
They
into
take death
existence,
seriously and do not travel
unconscious,
far.
perfect, free,
Since they dearly love their homes,
takes
they
on a
are not
physical
interested in
body.
travel. Although they have boats and carriages, no one uses them. They are
Therefore,
content with
all
healthy
beings
food,
honor the
pleased
way
with
and
useful
value its
clothing,
virtue.
satisfied in
They have
snug
not been
homes,
commanded to
and
worship
protective
the
of their way
Tao
of life.
and do homage
Although they
to
live within
virtue,
sight of their neighbors,
but they
and
always
crowing
do so
cocks and barking dogs can be
spontaneously.
heard across the way,
The Tao gives them
they
life.
leave each other in peace
Virtue
while they grow
nourishes
old
and
and
nourishes
die.
them, rears and shelters and protects them. The Tao produces but does not possess. The Tao gives without expecting. The Tao fosters growth
are not
without
beautiful.
ruling.
Beautiful
This
words
is called
are
hidden
not true.
virtue.
Good men do not argue. Those who argue are not good. Those who have virtue do not look for faults. Those who look for faults have no virtue. Sages do not accumulate anything, but
All
give
under
everything
heaven
to
have
others.
a common
Having
beginning.
more, the
This
more they
beginning
give.
is the mother of the
Heaven
world.
does good to all,
Having known the
doing
mother,
no evil to anyone.
we may
The
proceed
sage
to know her children.
imitates it, acting for the
Having
good
known
of
the
all,
children,
and
we should go
opposing
back
himself to no one.
and hold on to the mother. Keep your mouth shut, guard the senses, and light